Hey everybody, Moarhammer here. I've got another battle report for you. This is a pretty good one with a lot of beatings in, as usual. It's a 100 points of South Coast GT comp, and I'll get with my Nurgle against Khorne, and I'll jump straight into it right after the army breakdown. So here is a picture of deployment, and it's as you can see, my Nurgle on this side against a big block of Khorne stuff on the other side. So on my side, I've got right on the far left, I've got the Glotkin, the one, the only, or I guess the three, the only. you get the Glotkin. I've got 3 beasts of Nurgle, 3 Nurgling bases, 5 Putrid Blight Kings, 15 Chaos Warriors, 3 more Nurglings, 3 more beasts. Then just to the right of them, you've got a Chaos Sorcerer Lord, a Demon Prince, and 6 Plague Drones. That's my pretty beefy 100-point list. I'm looking forward to trying out the Glotkin again. I haven't used him in a while, so it should be a good one. Then on his side, starting on the far left, you've got a unit of 10 Skull Reapers, with us, and then a Skull Grinder and Lord of Chaos just with them. Then you have 20 Bloodletters, an extra Herald of Khorne. Then you've got 5 Flesh Hounds, a Bloodthirst of Unfettered Fury, 5 more Flesh Hounds. And just to the right of them, you've got a Blood Secrator, Exalted Deathbringer, and Scar Bloodwrath. Then in that forest, you've got 10 more Skull Reapers, and then just to the right of them, you've got 10 Gore. So they're not Khorne, but they're still Gore. So this is actually an army I'm playing, a friend of mine is using, but it's actually my army that is currently kind of under construction. So it's at some point in the future you may see, or you have seen, parts of this being used. But it was going to be interesting to see how well this army would perform, even if I was trying to beat it. So I did finish deploying first, so I let him go first because I didn't want him to get a double turn because he's got quite a lot of fast stuff. So he comes forward like this. I'm not really. It's very unsubtle. The only kind of thing that he'd done tactically was to move his Flesh Hounds on the left-hand side. Within 18 of the Glotkin, because they can try to dispel spells, and with them close enough to the Herald of Khorne and Bloodthirster, they can re-roll any unbinding attempts. So I think he was trying to shut down my magic pretty swiftly. So yeah, that's just about it. He has no shooting to speak of, that's in range at least. So we jump straight into my turn, and I push stuff forward like this. I was fairly reserved for what I did. I pushed my beasts forward quite far. I was hoping if I could get a decent charge, I could take out some Flesh Hounds. The Glotkin uses his command ability for the +1 attack. He puts Fleshy Abundance, which is +1 wound, on the Chaos Warriors. And I think I failed my other spell. I think I failed my other spell. But that is what it is. Other than that, I just push stuff forward. In the shooting phase, the Glotkin takes aim with his the noxious breath thing he's got and kills 4 Flesh Hounds. He hits, he wounds, they fail at save, or they don't get a save because it's a Ren 2, and they fail and they lose 8 of their number. 8 wounds, which is fantastic. So that's a pretty decent chunk of the Flesh Hounds out, and I'm quite a fan of that. So with no other shooting, we go straight into the charge phase, and the beasts make a massive charge and slam straight into the Bloodletters. Now I know it's great to just kill one of these guys so they're less effective, and so that was my entire plan. So killing the Flesh Hounds would be probably not harder, but I wanted to get rid of a few of these before they hit anything useful. That was the plan. I also decided in the end to charge my Plague Drones into the Gore, just to kind of get them out of the way. I knew that I probably if I killed them all, that would be fine. I did forget in the game, and also to mention that he put Inspiring Presence on the Gore. He did do that, and I totally forgot. So that was going to be a bit of a shock later on. Anywho, I did decide to attack with my Plague Drones first, to try and kill as many as possible. And I do pretty well. I kill 8 or 9 of them, which is fantastic. Again, like I said, he did put that inspiring presence on them, so they weren't going anywhere, which had me a bit, may have been a bit of a mistake. But they are plague drones; they can hold their own, and against anything that comes in. So fingers crossed. Then he goes over here with his Herald of Khorne. So he piled in with him because he was just in range to pile in. Attacked and did 2 wounds. And then it turns out that Heralds of Khorne have ability where if they pile in, they can then choose another unit to pile in with them. So in come the Bloodletters and managed to hack apart an entire beast. So he put 6 wounds onto the beasts, which is pretty rubbish. So yeah, but hopefully I can still kill one back to stop them attacking too nicely. So unfortunately, I completely fluff my rolls with the beasts. I do nothing to the Bloodletters at all. So he piles in with that 1 Fleshhound, but isn't able to do anything, which is grand. So we go into the initiative roll-off, and I was really hoping to win it here, just so I could take the initiative and actually get some charges where I want the charges and all that. So we roll it, and he wins it, unfortunately. So he does a bit more movement. He comes around like this. He uses the Bloodthirster uses his Bloodthirster command ability. He didn't really know what to do with it, so he just did that one. Fleshhounds come around a bit. Stuff charges through the middle. His blood Secretor plants the banner for the +1 attack. He had a pretty good boundary of everything from the Bloodletters all the way across, basically. And other than that, his Gore, they fled from the combat because they didn't want to be in with the plague drones, and ran as well. So they ran all the way around the side of that forest to in front of the plague drones. So they had the kind of plague drones called a pincer movement with the Exalted Deathbringer and those the Skull Reapers, piling in there. So that had me a bit worried. And then the Bloodthirster was going after the Demon Prince or the Sorcerer Lord or whatever he could get hold of. So in the shooting phase, which he does have now, the Bloodthirster of Unfettered Fury uses his Lash of Khorne and attacks the Sorcerer Lord, which he manages to get a single wound on, which is pretty alright. Not for me, obviously. And then he has the Drawn In for the Kill special rule, so he lashes in the Lord of Chaos right up to him, and he gets him within 3 inches, so he's now going to be in combat with the Sorcerer Lord, which is rubbish. So, we go into the charge phase, and over here the Skull Reapers pile into the Plague Drones, as you might expect. Over here, the Bloodthirster is in combat with the Sorcerer Lord, so he doesn't really charge there, but he's in combat. And Scar Bloodwrath and the Fleshhounds pile into the Nurglings to try and clear them out of the way. And also he manages to make quite a long charge over here with the Skull Reapers into the Beasts of Nurgle. That had me a bit concerned, but I should be alright. So, we go into this combat first with his Skull Reapers, and he does pretty well. They're pretty nasty when there's 10 of them and they've got +1 attack. They bring down 2 whole plague drones, which is pretty nasty. Then I go over here with the beasts, just because I want to try and take a couple down. I managed to kill a Skull Reaper, but he does put 3 wounds back onto the beast with the D3 mortal wounds he does when he falls down. So he rolled a 6 and then another 6. So 3 wounds went back onto the beast, which wasn't great, but that'll happen. So then he attacks with his Herald of Khorne, and then subsequently everything else attacked around him, apart from the Fleshhound. And what that does is everything it needs to do. He just annihilates the 2 remaining beasts. It was brutal. So I decided to go over here with my Nurglings, just because there's nothing else I can do better. But I'm not able to do a single thing, which is sad. So he piles in with his Exalted Deathbringer to attack, and is able to put 2 wounds onto a Plague Drone, which is pretty good going. Although could be a lot worse. And then he attacks with his Bloodthirster, and believe it or not, completely annihilates the Sorcerer Lord. Which is why he's so far away. I like to think that he's got tore into about 8 pieces, which is actually kind of sad. He got beaten badly. But I think he's actually then, at this point, out of stuff to attack with, so so I attack with my Plague Drones, and I'm able to kill 2 Skull Reapers, which is it's alright going. Could have been a lot worse. Then in retaliation, as they die, they do another 2 wounds to me, which was rubbish. Then he goes over here with the Flesh Hounds, I think, and then he kills an entire base of Nurglings. And then Scar Bloodwrath goes and kills another whole base of Nurglings. It was very sad indeed. So then he again piles over here. I'm out of stuff now to attack with, so he piles over here with his Skull Reapers, ready to attack the beasts, and he's able to kill 2 whole beasts and put 4 wounds onto another. Oh, it was brutal. So these guys are now down to their last legs, last 2 wounds. So, licking my wounds, we go into my turn, and I'm already losing stuff. My plague drones are tied into a combat which might be tricky for them, but I was hoping the Glotkin could now put some serious damage out and really put me back in the fight. So, I move around like this. I push the Glotkin kind of over just to make sure I can attack the Skull Reapers. I use his command ability. I do try to cast some spells, but I think he dispels both of them between the 2 Fleshhound units, which wasn't very useful. I do flee with that 1 unit of Nurglings out of the combat with the Fleshhounds, because there's no point in being there. He's just going to get in the way of the warriors, so they're going to charge now. And I was planning on maybe charging the Bloodthirst with my Demon Prince, because he's not going to be too bad at killing big things. So, that was my general plan. My shooting phase, I missed with my only shooting attack, so we go straight into the charge phase. And boom! The Glotkin slams into the Skull Reapers, and that was hopefully going to go well for me. And my Blight Kings slam into the Bloodletters, ready to do some damage, because I know that's quite a good matchup for them. I also slam over here. My Chaos Warriors charge the Fleshhounds and Scar Bloodwrath, and the Demon Prince charges the Bloodthirster. So I do decide to do this one with the Blight Kings first, because if I don't, his Herald and then subsequently the Bloodletter unit can pile in and really do some damage. So I just wanted to get rid of these guys ASAP. That's what I tried to do and managed to do it pretty well. 15 Bloodletters go down in total, and so that brings them down to a really decent chunk. I got excited that they disappear with Battle Shock, but his Bloodsecrator's right there stopping that happening. So there's that, but again, that's a really decent chunk of them down, and they're not really a threat anymore. That's fantastic. So then he goes over here with his Skull Reapers before my Plague Drones get a chance to attack. And, oh dear, this did not go well. Oh, I lost all of the Plague Drones, all of them. It was absolutely brutal. He rolled so many mortal wounds and so many wounds through, and I just rolled absolute pants for my save, and they just get annihilated. So that's some angry Skull Reapers right there. So yeah, there's that. So I decided to go with my Skull Reapers, my Glotkin next, hoping he could do some serious damage to these guys. I put 2 wounds on the Skull Reapers as I charge in, because the Glotkin does that, and then bam! I smash 5 or 6 of them apart. 6 of them, I think, get absolutely annihilated. So the Glotkin smashes through these guys, which is fantastic. So yeah, 6 of them died. It's like 21 wounds, or 18 to 21 wounds he did, which is outrageous. It was so impressive. He really did pull it out. Unfortunately, because they do the wounds back thing, I do take 7 wounds, which is a third of my total. So just from killing things myself, which sucked. But hey ho, I'll take it. Then he goes over here with his Bloodthirster against my Demon Prince and just smashes him to pieces. He rolled out the box. He got like 7 attacks with the Bloodsecrator there. 7 attacks, 7 hits, 7 wounds. I failed 3 or 4 of my saves, and he just rolls the D3s enough to get 8 wounds and smashes him to pieces. I do not know anymore how I'm going to deal with this Bloodthirster, but it's not going to be easy, I tell you that. So then I go over here with my Warriors. I'm able to do pretty rubbish. I only put a single wound onto a Fleshhound, so they are not pulling their weight right now. So then over here, he piles in with his 2 remaining Skull Reapers, and is able to put another 6 wounds onto the Glotkin. He's got 4 attacks, he hits with 3, wounds with 3, I fail 3 saves, and they're 2 damage each, and that's really sad. Then my Nurglings, however, pile in to try and take vengeance, and they're able to bring an entire one down themselves, which is pretty good going. So he attacks with his Fleshhounds, and does a total of 3 wounds to Chaos Warriors. That's not too bad, I can live with that. Then impiles my beast and smashes this last Skull Reaper right in his stupid face, and that's fantastic. So he's out of the way now, and hopefully my Glockkin can survive. Then he attacks with Scar Bloodwrath and is able to kill 2 warriors, which is pretty good going. He uses Storm of Blades special rule, so he gets a bunch of attacks and puts 2 of them down, and I can live with that. So then we go to the initiative roll-off, and he wins it again, which wasn't the best time, but I'll take it. He moves the Skull Reapers on the right-hand side across to the left to try and take some of the Blight Kings down. His Skull Grinder on the left-hand side moves up. Other than that, stuff just kind of moves around a little bit to get ready to charge stuff, as you might expect from Khorne. In the shooting phase, the Bloodthirster of Unfettered Fury uses his Lash attack and is able to plink a single wound off the Blight Kings, which is fantastic. And in the shooting phase, the Bloodthirster is able to use his Lash to take a single wound off the Putrid Blight King, which is okay. I can live with that. With no other shooting, goes straight into the charge phase, and the Skull Grinder foolishly charges straight into the Glockkin. And then the Lord of Chaos here and the Herald of Khorne charge into the Blight Kings, ready to do some damage. And then over here, the Gore make a long charge into the back of the warriors, and the Bloodthirster comes in too. So I didn't have high hopes for these guys right now, which is very sad. But hey ho. So he decides to go with the Skull Reaper the Skull Grinder first, sorry, and this was not good because he kills the Glockkin. Oh, it was outrageous. I lost 13 wounds, so I only had 5 left. He's got 2 attacks. He hits with both. He wounds with both. I fail both my saves, and they're 3 damage each. So I take 6 damage, and the Glockkin goes down. And it was heartbreaking. I couldn't believe it. Those Skull Reapers just took so much damage out of me, and then the Skull Grinder finishes the job. It was outrageous. Oh, I wanted to die inside. Anywho, then we go to this combat over here with my Blight Kings. I attack, and again, able to do pretty well. Kill the rest of the blood letters, no problem. Put 3 wounds onto the Herald even, which is pretty good going. And then he attacks over here with his Bloodthirster, as you might expect, and he smashes 4 Chaos Warriors apart, which is brutal. Again, he didn't actually roll amazingly here, but he rolled well enough to do that, and that's pretty good. So then he attacks. Then I attack with my Beast over here to try and get rid of the Fleshhound, and I'm able to do it fairly well. He knocks the last 2 wounds off, and that's perfect. Then he attacks over here with his Fleshhounds. He's able to kill another 2 warriors, so they're dwindling in number. When they attack back, they're actually able to do pretty well. I kill 2 Fleshhounds and a Gore. So yay, silver linings. Unfortunately, then he's able to attack with Scar, killing another 2 warriors, so they are seriously hampered now. And I am able to pile in with my Nurglings over here. They were just in range to do so, so that's what I do. They pile in and do 2 wounds to the Skull Grinder, which is fantastic. Then he piles in with his Lord of Chaos over here, and is able to do another single wound, and that's okay. And then he piles in with his Gore, attacks, and isn't able to do anything. So we go into the Battle Shock phase now that the combat phase is over, and it was pretty much bound to happen. I lost nearly 10 warriors. I failed my Battle Shock by enough that the rest of them run off, which is rubbish. So now they are out of the game, and I'm not very happy about that, as you might expect. So we go into my turn, and the first thing that happens is the Blight Kings do their special rule about everything within 3 inches, you roll a dice. And not only does that kill the Herald of Khorne, but it heals the wounds I've taken on the Blight Kings. So, yay! they're doing pretty well so far, so that's great. Other than that, I've got really nothing to move. My Beast kind of sits where he is, because there's nowhere really for him to go. Oh no, so I think he's just within 3 inches of the Skull Grinder, so he couldn't go anywhere. But that is what it is. Other than that, there's not really a whole lot of movement, because I've got nothing left to move. So we go straight into the combat phase. My Blight Kings pile in around the Lord of Chaos like this, and beat him to a bloody pulp, which is fantastic. This guy didn't stand a chance against my glorious Blight Kings. Then he attacks over here. He goes over here, but isn't actually able to do a single thing to anyone. He misses with all his attacks, and that's fantastic. So I attack with my beast and body slam the guy right there, and I smush his face into the ground. And take that's what you get. Take that. That is what you get for killing the Glotkin. Ugh, I hate that guy. So, we go into the initiative roll-off, and I win it, which is fantastic, so it got me a double turn. I moved that Nurgling base on the right-hand side that I kind of completely forgotten about up to now. He was blended in with the grass. Over to the Gore, the Beast comes across, the Blight Kings go across as well, and hopefully they can get a long charge and beat someone up. Over here, I charge my Nurglings and my Beast into the unit of Gore, and my Blight Kings managed to make a pretty long charge straight into the Skull Reapers, which is fantastic. So hopefully I can do these guys in pretty well. It is obviously that's the one I choose to do first, and smash! Outstanding show. I kill 7 of them, which brings their number down to 2, which is perfect. So they're really out of the way now. And I'm a big fan of that. So they did really, really well. And what's more, I think they actually didn't really take many wounds back from the blows, which is fantastic. And then he piles in with his Gore. He isn't able to do anything to the Beast, but he's able to put 3 wounds onto the Nurgling base, which is actually perfect, because that means I'm not going to lose any wounds, because I'll recover them in the Battle Shock phase. Yay! And then between my Beast... then I attack with my Beast, and he gets really angry and just beats 5 of them up. It's just glorious. And then my Nurgling base attacks and kills another one, which is great. Over here, he piles in with his Skull Reapers, and he's able to do 2 wounds to a Blight King, and then the other guy with the big axe thing attacks and is able to kill another one, and that's fine. So in total, in other words, I've lost one Blight King. So we go straight to his turn, and this is what happens. His Bloodthirster goes up to take care of those Blight Kings, or at least he's going to try, so I wasn't going to let him. And then the Scar Bloodbath comes around to charge the Beast, and the Fleshhounds go after the Nurglings. In the charge phase, he fails the charge with Scar, which is perfect. And the Fleshhounds charge into the Nurglings over here. And then the Bloodthirster hits them over here. And so does the Exalted Deathbringer. He piles in here as well, so that's alright. So he attacks with his Bloodthirster first. Does pretty well. He's able to kill a Blight King and put 2 wounds onto another. Again, he does roll fairly badly here, so that's great. And in my retaliatory attacks, my Blight Kings turn it up to 11 and smash both of the Skull Reapers in and the Exalted Deathbringer in. Really impressed. They rolled really, really well here, so that's fantastic. I do lose another Blight King from the attacks back from the Skull Reapers, but I can live with that. That unit's out of the way now, and so's the Deathbringer. Now I've just got to deal with that massive winged god of war. Over here, his Fleshhounds attack my Nurglings and put 3 wounds on, which is absolutely perfect again, because I'll just regenerate them. And then I attack with my Nurglings over here, but aren't able to do anything. So then I attack with my Nurgling bases, but again, I'm not able to do anything either. But that's okay, they're not there to do much. And that being the end of turn 5 is the end of the game. So there you have it. It is unfortunately a loss for the Legions of Nurgle. We tallied up the number of basically kill points at the end based on how many pools were left, and he does win it thanks to his Bloodthirster. But that was a really cracking game, really, really fun game to play. Just because it was, it started off so badly. I thought I was going to get completely rolled over when the Glotkin went down. He took so many wounds. When the Skull Reapers just rolled through my Plague Drones like they weren't even there, and that Bloodthirster just mowing through my characters like a Bloodthirster should. It was outrageous, but my Blight Kings really smashed the centre of his board up, taking all the Bloodletters out, the Herald, the Lord of Chaos, finishing off the Skull Reapers, doing in the Exalted Deathbringer, really took their number on. And so between those guys, they did really, really well this game, so I'm very happy about that. And Vengeance was taking on that Skullgrinder. My beast beat him up and survived the game, so that was great. So yeah, very good game. And I look forward to potentially, like I mentioned, this is actually my current sort of project that's underway. It's not painted yet, that's why it's not being used. So yeah, I'm actually kind of looking forward to using it a bit myself, seeing as it kind of steamrollers people a bit, and I'm quite a fan of that. So, thanks very much for watching. Please leave a comment in the video below. So, thanks very much for watching. Please leave a comment below, like the channel, subscribe, or follow me on Twitter at MoreWarGames for all the latest updates. So thanks very much for watching, and I will see you soon with another Battle Report.